Morning everybody, it's about 8 AM and I'm just doing Wilbur's service checks. It was raining so hard last night I didn't do them. It's still raining now, but I've got to that point now where a bit of rain counts as no rain, having seen so much. So join us today. We are going to try and get to the Stiklestad route, at least to the start of that, and that takes us all the way up the coast. See how we get on. Stiklestad route today. I'm going to try and get there, and we're going to go via King Olaf's, the site where King Canute killed him, allegedly. So it's a sacred site for Norwegians, so we're going to go and try and visit that, and we're going to try and chew the kilometres. About 460 today. We've had about 100 mil of rain in the last 3 days, and the August average is 60 mil, so you can get an idea of how wet it's been. Today is also going to be very wet. The forecast is terrible. It's due to start, well, it's starting now, but it's due to come in real heavy about lunchtime. Well, that's it. I'm just going to put my helmet and jacket on and get out here. Wilbur's there, poor old Wilbur. The ground is so soft and sodden, he just fell off his stand onto his side, and he's pretty heavy to pick up with all that gear on. So I've bent the footrest and the clutch cover, unfortunately. But anyway, that's the way it is. Just got to deal with it. So we're going to go to Stiklestad. That's 200 k's away, which is the site where King Canute killed Olaf, later Saint Olaf, in 1030, I think. Let's get out of here. You can see how wet it is already. We've already got rivers on the roads, and this is how it's going to be for the day, we think, but we've just got to do the kilometres. So the plan today is to ride 434 kilometres from Skogran camping, where we are, up to Vennesund camping, which is the start of the Route 17 Helgeland-Skeistan, but we're going to call it Stiklestad on the way because it's about halfway. You can see it was hideously wet, but we just had to do the kilometres. At least the traffic was light, but then we got to the edge of Trondheim, it dried up, but there's speed cameras and there's traffic, and we're on the dreaded E6, which is the Arctic highway. This is the road we've tried to avoid, but anyway, we'll just keep going. There's another speed camera sign there. I don't like this E6 and the traffic. But as we start to get out of town, the rain comes back, and there's more speed cameras. There's another one, and there's barriers, and then it gets wetter, and you can see the rain here. So you can't enjoy the scenery, you're too busy looking where you're going. And the traffic coming the other way was terrible, as you can see here. This is the outskirts of Stiklestad. At least we're here to our lunch stop, and it's just about stopped raining as well. So we're going to turn in here, and this is the National Cultural Centre. And this is where we're going to stop and have a look round for an hour. And luckily, they've got a motorcycle parking area here that's undercover. So we can park Wilbur under here, and he should be nice and happy, hopefully. Yes, at least I was dry inside, but I wasn't on the outside. Boy, that E6, there's a lot of trucks on it. It absolutely poured down, and there was times I was doing 80 kilometres an hour and there was no wind around me, which means I was pulling an 80 kilometre tailwind. That was not fun. There's just so much water and so much traffic on the E6. This is where it all happened in 1030. Yes, so King Olaf, who later became Saint Olaf, he was killed here by King Canute from Denmark and England. So they obviously had a bit of a skirmish, and it all kicked off. And I believe he King Olaf died at the site where that church is there. And we're obviously putting a nice new copper spire on it. So this is Stiklestad churchyard, and the building that's here was erected about 1150 to 1180 in the Romanesque style, they say. And according to tradition, the altar of this church marks the very spot where Saint Olaf fell in battle. The structure's been altered several times, and the latest I think was 1722. There's lots of buildings around the site, and this is one, Saint Olaf's Chapel. This is an Orthodox chapel consecrated at Stiklestad in 2014, but originally it was a storehouse from about 1750. I think that's a kiddie's playground as opposed to something sacred to Saint Olaf. But these old buildings made out of, well, they're not sticks, they're logs. And you get the bark underneath the moss on the roof, and that's a pretty substantial way of building. I don't know how old that is, but it'll probably be there for a very long time. Anyway, we'll have a wander up here. Wonder if you're allowed in. So this is inside the longhouse, and this is where they would have had the parties and such like. And there's the 4 Norse gods at the end there, overlooking it all. And on the ends of all these beams, I don't know if you can see it, there's animal heads carved everywhere. So this is how it would have been before the Battle of Stiklestad. So this is the living quarters and the beds. There's the beds, bunk beds, big bunk beds. And the tools, the hand tools that were used to build the house.
All you see here is we have used this one.
So this was all rebuilt in the traditional style,
yeah.
Traditional tools.
So we have to we have copy from tools you see there.
Yep.
And we have tried to build this so like the original as possible.
Different shapes, skis.
The skis and this skis. It's 2,000 years old.
Oh yes. Wow.
We have this is copy, of course.
Yes.
This is from year 700, so this is over 1,000 years old.
Oh, a lathe.
Yeah.
Viking wood lathe.
This is from 900 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. There was even a very impressive pike collection, but no, they're not to keep the English out. They've all got names on of the people who sponsored the building when it was made. So it's a pretty impressive Viking longhouse. I'm glad I came now, even if I am the only visitor in the whole place. Do not feed the pigs. The reason they've come running here is that they know that people feed the pigs. I think all the exhibits are closed. I don't know if I'm out of season or whether it's just because the weather's bad, and what day is it? It's Tuesday today, and nobody comes here on a Tuesday. I don't know, but it's very, very quiet. I think there's one other person on a push bike came in while I was there, and there was 2 people in the restaurant. That was it. So this whole site, I don't know, it's impressive style buildings. Well, I think we've got some sort of stage and live action arena, and that under there looks like where you'd put an orchestra. And then there's all these seats around here, so they must do live shows and stuff in summer. It is summer, what am I talking about? Well, we try the restaurant here. It's supposed to specialise in local dishes, which is something I haven't had so far, but I don't think I'm going to be sitting outside. Oh, they've got candles on the tables and wine glasses. I don't know what they're going to think about me going in there soaking wet in biking gear. We'll find out. I've ordered the local fish soup, which is salmon and shrimp, with local bread. The fish soup should do perfectly, and that'll warm me up for the afternoon. Now that is a proper bowl of soup. Some bread and butter. Delicious. What we're interested in. Look at those prawns and stuff in there. Prawns and salmon. Delicious. Well, what a great spot to stop for an hour and get some lunch. That was delicious. I'm full, I'm warm, and we're going to get on Wilbur. We're going to head north for about an hour, and then we're going to turn off onto I think it's the RF17. Now that is the last turning we're going to take before we get to the Arctic Circle, because that Route 17 goes all the way up the coast for about 1,000 kilometres, and it's going to take us up to Burrow, which is where we're going. So the plan was to head back onto the E6 and head north to Stiklestad, and that's where we turn off left and pick up the Route 17. So it turned out that the E6, the Arctic Highway, at least when we're north of Trondheim here and going further north, it was a bit quieter. The weather still wasn't very kind to us at times, but anyway, we were making decent progress and the traffic was a bit lighter, so at least we could look around and enjoy the scenery a bit. And as we were getting further north, the weather started to lift. Well, this is it, the Route 17 that takes us to the Arctic Circle. Let's go, like 600 kilometres that way. So we're heading northwest now, and the first thing we see is a bit of blue sky and that splendid rainbow. It led us straight into this roadwork section. I've never seen anything like it. Look at it. It's worse than an off-road section. It was so slippy and it was all rutted and soft. I mean, it's crazy. This is a public road. Dangerous on a motorbike, really. Well, the blue sky looks nice here, but it didn't last for long. We were soon through that and it was absolutely pouring. Well, I thought I'd stop for fuel. Jesus, I'm wet. And the bloody fuel pump won't work. So what a nightmare. Okay, so I'm 50 k's from the home ferry. Let's just keep going. I need camping and I need fuel. So we're just waiting for the ferry to come in, and if we look at the map up there, this is where we are. This is the ferry we're going to take, so I'm going to camp at Vennesund, I hope. I'll get a cabin, we'll see what they've got available, and then we're going to run up the RV17. The weather's actually lifted slightly at the moment. That has been one of the most difficult riding days I think I've ever done. I can't remember a time that I have been so wet for so long, and visibility and everything else. It's just a good job the roads are in decent condition here. But this is our ferry coming in, and this is the port in home. And very nice it looks too, with a bit of sunshine poking through. So we'll get ourselves aboard. So this is the home to Vennesund ferry, number 12 on our journey so far. And as we come in, it opens up its jaws. We can get off the ferry boat and we can get ourselves to the camping. Now the great thing about this is the camping I'm hoping to stay at, if we come off the ferry here, it should be literally about 100 yards on the right. There it is, you can see the flags. That's it, that's our riding for the day done. We'll pull into here and we'll sort ourselves out some nice accommodation, I think. Perfect. So this is the hut for the evening. I've arrived at the camping. You literally turn right off the ferry and it's here, and job done. So I've got my boots in front of the fan heater, so I'll just keep moving those around and we'll get the water out of them. They weigh about a stone each, there's so much water in them. and my feet are ringing. Anyway, got my flip-flops on, got my shorts on. I'm dry inside. It's just my feet, particularly, are the worst affected areas from all this rain. There's all my wet gear. But before I get into doing the bike, I wanted to take you and show you the camping. Oh, yeah. This is the balcony, by the way. That's not a bad view. And that'll be the sea there. Yeah, so anyway, there's Wilbur. Poor Wilbur. Yep. So this little cabin, we've got a single bed here, we've got the table and stuff. There's some fishermen going up there. It's a big fishing place, this area. Yeah, we've got the sink, we've got the fridge, a little 2-ring hob there, kettle, coffee machine. They supply the washing up stuff and a chopping board. And in here we've got basic microwave and some bits and pieces there, and we've got some pans and things in there. So it's basically they're pretty well equipped. So the problem I have, the chain is knacked. That was good tension this morning, and what it's doing, if you can see, it's wearing the teeth off the rear sprocket. If I leave that, it will knacker the rear sprocket and then I'm really in trouble. So hopefully the weather's not looking too bad. It's coming from that direction, so I've just got to knuckle down and change that chain. Changing the chain's easy. Getting the rear wheel adjusters is something else because they're hidden behind the panniers. So that's the adjuster. So we've got to wind this a long way back. There we are. So with the wheel pushed forward, we can hook the chain onto the old one, pull it through, and then we can get it round the sprocket and get the split link on and clip the link in. There we go. Now it's just a case of tighten everything up, check the chain tension, and we're good. Perfect. Well, there we are. Wilbur's got a new chain. The brakes adjusted, so that's a couple of good jobs there. We'll check the oils, wheel bearings, things like that, and then we're done. The old chain, and there's some very floppy links. Can you see that? Can you see that being pulled in and out? But worst of all, I found the problem. This is the split link, and look, the pin has come loose, and that has been rattling around, and that's the one that has worn all the teeth on the sprocket. We are at 65.12 degrees and the Arctic Circle is at 66.35, so we've got 1.2 degrees to go. We've done 3,321 kilometers. Tomorrow we've got 264 kilometers to the Arctic Circle. It's actually about 150 kilometers as the crow flies, but again, we're taking the coastal route here, 264 k's, so that's going to take about 7 hours, I reckon, because it's very windy, and I think we've got 4 ferry crossings to do. I've got a beer sat up there on the table, and that is my view, to have a beer and have me tea tonight. Perfect. Join us next time and see if we make it to the Arctic Circle with Wilbur. So join us next time when we're riding the Helgeland Skystone Route 17. We see amazing scenery, but it's wet. We see a moose on the side of the road. We see rivers running down the roads. We take 4 ferry journeys in one day. The sky looks amazing when the weather starts to break. We spend an hour in Forvik Harbour. Look at that scenery. We're riding along the Helgeland Brewer. We cross the Arctic Circle. There's the Arctic Circle marker. And me and Wilbur sit there and we share a beer to celebrate our success. And look at that for a sunset. All that and more next time on Wilbur's Arctic Adventure.